Give it up to your class, please. Check. Okay. How you guys doing today?
Yeah!
South Plantation, how you doing today? How's Dominico treating you today? We got song number one for you. We got a song called The Rise. If you feel like following along or if you feel like clapping along, we'll take either one. So it's a little something like this. Get out the dark. Drop the little side. All right, guys. We're going to do a couple songs for you. We're going to do once again, we're going to go to the rise. And they're going to do something like this. South Plantation, how are you? I want to see you get up and scream. That's what we love. Thank you so much. We're Dr.Iven. We're here to play you some songs. We're here to talk with you a little bit. We're going to give you a little picture. And if you're brave enough, we're going to vote some of you on the stage to sing with us. So, we'll get you for that in a second. Thank you so much. This next song is called Disconnected. It's a little song about finding your way out of a difficult situation. We hope you enjoy it. The caller here, I think I'm popping the caller.
Popping Dick.
All right. How you guys doing today? Everyone ready to have an amazing fun time? All right, good. Well, we're going to speak to you now. So we're going to get a little music, we're going to get a little speaking. You get a little music, get a little speaking. So get crazy on the music and get listening on the speaking, right?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Maybe that's a metal.
So, how many of you received a confusing text? Someone sent you a text, or maybe a Facebook message, or MySpace, or and even a letter that's like, you're reading it, you're like, what does Becky mean by this? I can't believe she sent me this. Right? And then what do we do? We send back a text that's like,
Question mark.
Becky, I don't think I want to be friends anymore. Right? And she says, what does she do? She sends one back and says, well, fine, I never liked you anyway, right? And this whole thing, this little text, this one little text that maybe was a little confusing or it sounded demeaning, blows up into this huge issue, right? I recently had a situation like this. I wrote that I was on Facebook and I wrote my status, hey, I'm going on tour in Florida in 2 weeks. And my friend wrote back on my Facebook and said, hey man, you gotta stop putting statuses like this. And I think he was joking, right? But I wasn't sure, so I asked him for clarification. I said, sorry dude, I hope everything's going well. And I like put a little ha-ha in the beginning, thinking maybe he'd respond back. And he just responds back like, you don't even know, man. And I was really confused by this. So I was like, you know what, I've had enough of this negativity. And I blocked him. I was like, no more friendship. This is a man I went to college with, right? A close friend of mine for 2 years.
We get out of college. I haven't seen him in a while. He writes some confusing things on my Facebook page. And then now we're not friends. Well, guess what happens a few days later?
What?
I go to rehearsal, and who's the sub for the piano player? But my friend. Right? How many of you come back to school, you got that confusing text, you come back into school, and now all of a sudden Becky's standing there at the front gate talking to her friend, right? And you guys look at each other like whatever, right? And you guys never talk. Maybe you never talk about it, right? And a year goes by.
Show mama's everything.
A year goes by, and you're still not friends again. And you guys are still struggling to speak to each other. And now there's gossip going around, and this and that. And this little text blew up into this huge problem for years and years. But you guys, I gotta say, when I went to that rehearsal and my friend was there as a sub, do you think I just went over to him and was like, whatever? No, I didn't. I walked over and I said, hey bro, what was up with that comment on Facebook? And he's like, oh man, I was just joking. Right? So he's just joking around. And it got blown up into this huge thing, and we maybe wouldn't be friends anymore. But I went up and I talked to him face to face, and I said, you know, we really got to talk about this, man. And even though he was joking, I found out that he's going through a rough time, right? Rough time with his family and things like that. And maybe I wasn't the best friend for unfriending him on Facebook, when maybe he's reaching out to me in a certain way to tell me I need help. So I just want to say, you guys, whenever you have a problem, whenever we have a problem, and you get a confusing text, in this digital world, there's a lot of miscommunication, right? The best thing to do is go up and talk to that person face to face. And that's a really hard thing to do, right?
No.
No? I'm glad to hear it. Some people are saying no. So they're ready to go and talk to people. You guys got to realize that friendship's important, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
These friendships are a connection, right? As musicians, we go out into the world and we play with a lot of people. We meet a lot of new people. And we have friends and things like that maybe we only met once or twice. And then a year later, that friendship actually ends up getting you a performance or a tour or networking to new people. Our friendships and our connections are really important. I think in today's digital world, we kind of forget that. We connect on Facebook and things like that with people all over the world, but we never meet them face to face, or we never talk to face to face, and we never talk about our problems, right? But as some of the people in this audience said, talking face to face, it may be hard, but it's the best thing to do. When you got a problem, you got to resolve your conflicts face to face. Otherwise, it may be years before you guys are friends again, and it may be quite a while before that friendship ever turns into any benefit to you. So I thank you guys for listening today. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of our music performance. Don and Gino are going to come up and speak to you.
Yeah!
We'll be right now, guys. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. I hope you enjoyed the first part, and I hope you're enjoying the second part. You have housekeeping rules right here, right now. This morning you were broken up into specific groups for a specific reason. This afternoon, we've given you the privilege to integrate with your friends. Please bear in mind as we go through this for the rest of the afternoon that the same guidelines and rules of respect apply here and now as did earlier today. And that does mean, ladies and gentlemen, that one person speaks at a time. You know that's the rule here. So if you've got someone speaking to you from the heart, I truly expect you to be listening. Okay? Understand?
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. Keep going.
Okay, South Plantation, are you ready to come up and sing with us?
Yeah.
Okay, now listen. If you know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Now, Domenico's going to explain exactly what to do on this.
Got him!
Only 6 people up here. 6 people. I'm sorry.
They didn't want to go all day.
Yeah.
Grab security. Bye. How many people live there now? 6? Crowded in up there.
We need one more person that yells, "Don't stop believing my journey." If you don't know, you don't know. Perfect. 6 would be the optimum number here. One more person. I mean, one more. Don't stop believing. You right there. Come on up.
Ashley!
Alright, so give it up for your courageous.
Why don't you put the thumb out?
It's a tough thing to do, I'll tell you. That's why I'm back here. Alright, hit it, Dom. You guys can all run along with us. Gino's going to count you out when it's time to say it. 2 p.m. Alright, everyone get ready. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Very nice. you on your own now. There we go.
Stop. Good.
We just hold for one more. Nice job, guys. You guys want the free pizza? Drop it. How do you guys feel about free stuff? Time at the end of this song. We hope you enjoy it. What's all about getting rid of the drama in your life? We hope you enjoy it.
'Cause
can sing this. All you gotta say is, who's back to go? 2, 3, 4. Who's back to go? Now, here we go. Who's back to go? 2, 3, 4. Who's got to go? Now, that was 10. Here we go one more time. Who's back to go? You got to go! Nice job. Keep going. Who's back to go? Keep going. Who's back to go? Who's back to go? Thank you so much. Give yourselves a round